In the heart of Igbo land, deep within the dark and enchanted forest of Amadim, lived a powerful witch named Nwoma. She had 7 daughters, each more beautiful than the last. Legends whispered through the villages that any man who could marry one of Nwoma's daughters would be blessed with boundless fortune and prosperity. However, despite the allure, no man who ventured to their secluded hill ever returned. The hill where Nwoma and her daughters lived was called Odu Obiala, a forbidden place filled with wicked and vengeful spirits. Villagers believed the forest around the hill was enchanted with black magic, and any man who dared enter the evil forest vanished without a single trace. Many were wise enough to fear it, but the allure of Nwoma's beautiful daughters irresistibly enticed young men to their doom. Over the years, countless young men traveled to Odu Obiala, drawn by the allure of Nwoma's captivating daughters. Nwoma welcomed each suitor with open arms, offering sweet palm wine and a lavish feast. As night descended and the moon cast its glow, she would invite them to stay the night with her daughters. Under the enchanting moonlight, Nwoma's daughters enchanted the men with magical songs and dances, luring them into a deep and peaceful sleep. While they dreamt, Nwoma would swiftly strike, piercing their hearts with an enchanted dagger, ensuring that their hearts never beat again. As the sun rose, Nwoma and her daughters continued their ritual, consuming the flesh of the young men to preserve their youth and beauty, a secret tradition they had maintained for over 100 years. In a distant village lived Chioma, a wise woman blessed with 7 strong and courageous sons. When her sister passed away, Chioma lovingly adopted and raised her nephews, imparting them with her wisdom and care. When Chioma's sons heard tales of Nwoma's legendary daughters, renowned for their beauty, they grew eager to meet these rare beauties. Despite Chioma's pleas and warnings of the many young men who had ventured there and never returned, her sons dismissed her concerns with the boldness and assurance of youth.
"Mother, you need not worry,"
they laughed.
"Each one of us has grown into a man, and no woman can match us, especially the mother of 7 lovely daughters."
Despite their stepmother's pleas, the 7 brothers set off for Odu Obiala, confident in their strength and wits. They believed that no woman could outmatch them. Little did they know that their youngest brother, Kelechi, was destined to play a crucial role in their journey. As the brothers departed, Chioma felt a sharp pain in her stomach and unexpectedly gave birth to her 8th son, Kelechi. This tiny boy, no larger than her finger, spoke immediately.
"Where are my brothers?"
he asked. Chioma, taken aback by Kelechi's ability to talk and his knowledge of his brothers, quickly informed him of their quest to Odo Obiala. Kelechi, sensing the danger his brothers were in, knew he had to act swiftly to save them. Without hesitation, he set off on his journey, determined to reach his brothers before it was too late. He soon caught up with his brothers and called out for them. The young men paused, intrigued by the voice calling their names in the forest. When the tiny boy reached them, the brothers couldn't help but marvel at who he was.
"I am Kelechi, your youngest brother,"
he declared.
"You are in great danger."
That cannot be,
replied the eldest brother.
we are only 7. There are no more of us. If you know what's good for you, stop trying to trick us and leave us alone.
Despite Kelechi's earnest warnings of grave danger and his intention to rescue them, the brothers became very angry by his persistence and they started to beat him up before continuing on their journey, dismissing his concerns entirely. As they walked through the dense forest, one of the brothers spotted a beautiful cloth lying on their path.
Look at this. What a lucky journey,
he cried, throwing it over his shoulder. But as he walked, the cloth grew heavier with each step. Soon, he had to ask his other brother to carry it. Laughing, the next brother took it, but it became too heavy for him too. Each brother took a turn, but the cloth seemed to weigh them down more and more. Finally, the eldest brother, exhausted, threw it on the ground in frustration. To their surprise, the cloth transformed into Kelechi, their youngest brother. He stood before them, determined to save them.
"It is me, Kelechi, your youngest brother. You've been carrying me. That's why the cloth was so heavy,"
Kelechi explained to his 7 brothers. They were shocked at first, but soon after, their surprise turned into anger. They beat Kelechi up again and continued on their journey, ignoring his warning and pressing deeper into the forest. As they journeyed, one of the brothers stumbled upon a silver ring.
Wow, look at what I found. Someone dropped this silver ring on the road,
he exclaimed, slipping it onto his finger. But soon after, the ring grew so heavy that he couldn't lift his hand. He passed it on to his other brother, and the ring continued to burden each of them in turn until they were all exhausted. Finally, the eldest brother removed the ring to inspect it, wondering why had it become so heavy. Suddenly, a tiny voice spoke out.
You should have guessed that I'm inside the ring. It's Kelechi, your little brother.
The brothers, furious this time, were ready to beat Kelechi up with sticks. They already started plucking sticks from the tree. But the eldest brother intervened.
Wait,
He said,
Kelechi seems determined to join us. Maybe if we let him come along, he will leave us alone.
The brothers thought about it, and then they reluctantly agreed. And so they resumed their journey to Odu Obiala, with little Kelechi trailing behind them. Finally, the brothers reached Odu Obiala, where Nwoma eagerly greeted them with open arms. They were captivated by the beauty of her daughters and gladly accepted Nwoma's hospitality of palm wine and delicious food. Kelechi, being so small, remained unnoticed behind his elder brother's foot. As the evening progressed, Nwoma extended her usual invitation for the brothers to spend the night with her daughters, a gesture she had made to countless suitors before them. Excited and unaware of any danger, the brothers agreed eagerly, not realizing the hidden risks waiting them in the shadows. When the brothers entered the largest hut in the compound for refreshments, the witch then spotted Kelechi and couldn't help but chuckle at his tiny size. Intrigued, she invited him to her own hut and laid out a mat for him to rest on. Kelechi pretended to fall asleep. Later that night, as Nwoma prepared for her ritual, she reached for her enchanted dagger. Just as she was about to use it, Kelechi suddenly spoke up.
What are you doing?
Surprised, Nwoma quickly made up an excuse about checking on provisions and returned to bed. Kelechi knew that for Nwoma's ritual to succeed, she had to pierce the dagger into his brother's heart. If she skipped this, their flesh would taste like poison the following morning. With time running out, Kelechi had to find a way to protect his brothers from Nwoma's wicked plans. The witch lay back down, and both she and Kelechi pretended to be asleep. After a while, Nwoma got up again and quietly went to where she had hidden her enchanted dagger.
What are you doing?
Kelechi asked again. The witch, startled once more, said she was just checking on something, and she quickly laid back down. After a while, Nwoma's breathing became steady and slow. She was finally asleep. Kelechi got up and tiptoed out into the compound. He found the largest hut and snuck inside, careful not to make any noise since his brothers were all drunk and fast asleep. Quickly, he exchanged their white robes for the blue robes of Nwoma's 7 beautiful daughters. Kelechi quickly returned to Nwoma's hut, and just as he laid his head on his mat, Nwoma woke up again. She went to get her enchanted dagger, and this time, Kelechi stayed quiet. Nwoma crept into the largest hut in the compound. In the darkness, she saw the white robes and swiftly stabbed the sleeping figures, thinking they were the brothers. She returned to her hut, excited about the feast she would have the next morning. Once Nwoma was fast asleep, Kelechi quickly snuck back into the big hut and woke his brothers up with a cold bucket of water. As they grudgingly woke up, Kelechi explained what had happened. Realizing the witch had killed her own daughters, the brothers quickly gathered their things and ran for home. At dawn, Nwoma woke up excited and hurried to wake up her daughters. She wanted to prepare their breakfast and finish up their ritual. But when she entered their hut, she discovered her horrifying mistake. Her daughters were dead and the brothers were gone. How could they have tricked her? She and her daughters, they had sacrificed so much to maintain their youth and beauty. And now she had killed all 7 of them with her own hands. Angry, Nwoma commanded the wind to come to her. She climbed upon it and rode it towards the brothers' home. When Kelechi saw her coming, he warned his brothers to hide in the bushes. The brothers were scared and they didn't know what to do. But Kelechi, sent by their dead mother from the spirit world, had a plan. He found a hen's egg under a bush and threw it on the ground between his fleeing brothers and the witch. The smashed egg turned into a wide river that the witch could not cross. Unbothered, Nwoma pulled out a magic calabash that scooped all the water out of the river, allowing her to pursue the brothers again. After reaching a certain distance, Kelechi saw Nwoma approaching once more. He picked up a large rock and threw it between his brothers and the witch. The rock transformed into a high mountain that Nwoma could not climb. She was not ready to give up. She pulled out a magic axe and chopped her way through the mountain. But this took too long, and the brothers managed to reach their home just ahead of her. The next day, the village elders asked the brothers to gather firewood in the bush. They were scared because they thought Nwoma might still be after them. Little did they know, she had transformed into a pigeon that morning and overheard the elders' request. As they gathered firewood, the brothers noticed that all the mango trees in the forest were dead except for one. This particular tree had vibrant green leaves and branches with sweet, juicy mangoes. One brother reached for a mango, but Kelechi stopped him just in time. He realized it was a trick. The tree was actually Nwoma in disguise, trying to poison them. The brothers quickly ran home before Nwoma could change back into her real form and chase them. They were safe again, thanks to Kelechi's quick thinking and bravery. But the witch was not ready to give up. Her 7 beautiful daughters were dead, and she wanted revenge. One morning, the brothers woke up and saw a beautiful donkey outside their hut. All of them, except Kelechi, climbed on the donkey's back for a ride. But there wasn't enough space for Kelechi. When Kelechi said there wasn't enough space, the donkey suddenly grew longer.
I don't want to ride a donkey with such a long back,
he said. As soon as he said this, the donkey shrank to a very small size. Kelechi shouted,
You have been tricked again! The donkey is Uama, the evil witch!
The brothers quickly jumped off the donkey's back and ran to their hut for safety. By now, the witch realized that the only way to capture the brothers was to get rid of Kelechi first. So the next morning, she arrived at the village disguised as a beautiful maiden and sought Kelechi out, saying she had come to visit him. Kelechi, suspicious but polite, entertained her. He welcomed the lovely woman into the visitor's hut and offered her meat from a young goat he had killed for his mother to prepare. As the night time approached, the maiden asked Kelechi to escort her and help her find her way back home through the dark forest. Kelechi agreed to accompany her. They hadn't gone far into the bush when the maiden stepped behind a large tree. A few moments later, she emerged as a monstrous python and charged at Kelechi. Kelechi had been expecting something like this. So as soon as the snake lunged at him, he transformed into a roaring fire, quickly burning the python to ashes. Kelechi returned to his village, proud, a victor, and told his brothers and the villagers what had happened. That night, there was great feasting and wild festive dancing as the villagers celebrated Kelechi's victory over Uoma, the wicked witch. The moral of this story is sometimes what seems like a disadvantage can actually turn into an advantage when you are confronting wickedness.